But another thing that does come up time to time and time again is the ability of members of Congress to trade stocks. Representative Zach Nunn would like to do something about that. Representative Nunn is on my Newsmaker line. Representative Nunn, it's great to talk with you. Good morning to you.
Jeff, always a privilege. Thanks to be on the call with you.
You bet.
You're absolutely right. Holding people accountable. That's what we need to start with.
Well, this is one of those topics. Boy, you want to fire need-to-know listeners up. Representative Nunn, this is it. So tell me what your bill would do.
So this is a pretty straightforward bill. It says, if you are a member of Congress, if you have access to insider information because of the job that you have to hold people accountable, do investigations, perform accountability, and you or your spouse are trading those stocks, you're obviously making a profit at the taxpayer's expense, and we're saying no to that. So not only would you not be able to trade stocks if you're a member of Congress or their spouse, we're putting actual teeth into a bill that says any profit you would make on those stocks is immediately forfeited back to the taxpayer, and you'll pay a $50,000 personal fine. I mean, this is coming directly out of your pocket. So this isn't something they can just write off on their campaign side. They've got to pay for these things. We're going to start holding both Republicans and Democrats. Look, 78 members of Congress violated the Stock Act in the last Congress, Jeff, and none of them were held accountable by their own ethics committee. So it's a real threat, and it's something that when we go to Washington, it's to serve the people who elected us, not to enfranchise ourselves by making some money on the side.
So 78 members of Congress violated the Stock Act. What is that supposed to prevent, Representative Nunn, the current Stock Act?
Yeah, so you think about the guys who made millions of dollars right before a national mandate went out that said, hey, everybody's got to get a vaccine. Clearly, they knew what was about to happen with some of the big pharmaceutical companies, and they made major investment, and as a result, found themselves much wealthier on the back end because of action the government took. Mm-hmm. Imagine a situation where you're supposed to be, overseeing a banking institution, you're serving on let's say, the finance committee, and you're doing an investigation into what they've done wrong and what you're going to change, and you end up making or your spouse makes some investments as a result of future legislation. You ultimately not only have insider information, you're shaping the way the policy is going to impact the U.S. economy. You should not be getting rich on that. So this says very clearly, no more trading. We are here to do public policy. We're not here for personal pensions.
Is it, Representative Nunn, a problem? And I ask you this because sometimes we'll talk about these emotional topics on the show, and people will say, but Jeff, aren't you just creating a problem when there is none? Has there been any studies done on how many members of Congress may be doing this?
Yeah, unfortunately, this is, long time been a challenge, but in the last basically 7 years, we have seen an explosion in the amount of personal wealth members of Congress are earning based on stock trades. And this isn't a Republican think tank or a Democrat one. These are from the Congressional Budgeting Office that has done it. We have tried to go forward and
may have lost him.
This has gotten out of hand. Yeah, basically highlighted. Pelosi even herself has said this has gotten out of hand, and this is a woman who her and her husband have made literally millions of dollars with this kind of information.
That said, though, Representative Nunn, that leads right into my next question, which is, even somebody like a Speaker Pelosi is saying, oh, yeah, I know it's a problem, and then Congress doesn't do anything. I mean, what is your sense about the momentum that there actually exists in Congress to move on your bill?
Yeah, so luckily we've got bipartisan support on this. We reached out early, and Representative Stanton out of Arizona is going to be a co-sponsor with us. I think that anyone who is coming in this freshman class that wants to see, drain the swamp action taken against the, long-term guys who have been sitting around in Washington making their own money on other people's dime need to go. And we're going to be pretty clear that the new class is very focused on moving legislation that holds Washington accountable to our constituents and to our communities. So I feel very positive on the committees that I'm serving on, like financial services. We're going to have an opportunity to have this day in court. Now, I will say we'll have an uphill because a lot of those senators, as you mentioned with Bernie Sanders, who apparently hates capitalism, God bless the man. He has been making a ton of money on the side doing the exact kind of stock trades that this bill aims to say no more.
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, there are a lot of folks that'll be willing to tell the public that, yeah, I think that's a great idea, and then it just never comes up for a vote. And I think Representative Nunn gave you just a great example there of why that is. Congressman Zach Nunn, Congressman, thanks for taking the time on this important issue. We will talk to you again very soon.